Hi there. So, welcome to today's installment of Created for More, the podcast. So, today is I'll call this a very personal episode because I think some things are really, really good to share to evidence that sometimes some people are not beyond or immune to things that everybody experiences. And the reason I say so is that when you perhaps attain a certain level of actualization, impact. For instance, I'm an author, I'm a coach, I teach people how to change the paradigms through which they view life so that they can experience more. I'm all about helping people get into their more, as you know, on this podcast, right? But the danger there is that when people see or perceive me based on everything that I do, there's a danger that they feel like I am less susceptible to certain things that they go through in their own lives, or you go through in your own lives. And what I'm doing today is leveling the playing field so that you can understand that we are all the same, and breaking out, thinking differently requires the same intentionality from every single person. It's an effort that we all have to put in, and if we put it in, we will see results, right? So, what am I talking about? First of all, before I even tell you what I'm talking about, I will start with a quote, and it's a quote from Carl Jung, and it says that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. So, what it's saying is that until you make what is unconscious within you actually conscious, it will rule your life, it will lead you, and you will call it fate. Now, so life be. That's just how it is, right? That's the way it is, right? So, what am I talking about? So, I am going to be sharing with you an experience I had over the weekend. So, as you know, I've got two daughters. One of my daughters is currently in the process of writing what they call over here 11 plus. So, they're this set of assessments that children do to allow them get into specific selective secondary schools. So my daughter is doing was doing one, and we've been preparing her for a while. She's doing a few, and we've been preparing her for a while, myself and my husband, putting in all the effort, making sure she's on top on her grades. In fact, I've even gone over and beyond, like making sure she's sitting down doing her tutoring. Sometimes I even sit in the tutoring classes with her because I really want to understand what she's being taught, so that if there are gaps, I can help her fill it, right? And everything I'm sharing, this picture that I'm painting for you, there's relevance and significance in every single thing I'm sharing. So please listen in. So, being with her through this journey, most parents start to prepare their children for these sets of exams maybe about a year before, right? If you do it a duration that is less than a year before, it feels a lot more rushed. So some people even do it more, so it's like 2 years before and all of that. But anyway, we started like more seriously about a year before, just making sure everything was there. Got the schools, we've done applications, prepped her. This is what this, just get everything ready, right? Basically. And even up in the run up to the day, on a more practical level, making sure that she's revised everything, just making sure that every single T was crossed, every dot, every I was dotted, or so I thought. Anyways, the big D day finally comes, and I, cheer up. When you have a mom that is an inspirer of women, and you are of a female gender, you definitely got a plus for you. So I'm cheering her up. This is who you are. This is that. We're doing the drive up. I'm driving her up to this school, about an hour, near an hour, 30 minutes away. We get there. And the first thing I noticed when I got to the school was that I saw all the parents, and the first thing I noticed in the car park were that all the parents were coming out of their cars with their children, and they were all wearing school uniform. I guess you know where this story is going. Turns out, somewhere in the emails, and as soon as I saw a child with a school uniform, I was like, I immediately remembered that I had seen in one of the emails that said, make sure you bring your child in their primary school uniform. Even though it's an entrance exam for secondary school, we want them coming. I don't know. I think it's some way for the school to maintain some sort of uniformity. They want everybody just wearing all sorts or whatever. Anyway, it's the first experience for me, so I don't know if that's normal. But anyways, and instantly I just thought to myself, oh my goodness, we're driven like an hour 30 minutes. There was no way I was going to go back home and get, in fact it was already probably about, I got there about maybe 10 or 15 minutes ahead of the time, the stipulated time where we're meant to be there for. So I said to my daughter, I was like, oh my goodness, I think I've made a mistake, massive faux pas. I haven't read an email. Well, I didn't do something that I was supposed to do. You were meant to wear your uniform, da 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 da. Thankfully, she was in good spirits about it. It's like, it's all right, mommy. Got out of the car, went up to the school, the building where they were going to be assessed, or where everyone was going. Got there, spoke to the coordinator of the day, and I said to her, look, I'm really, really sorry. My daughter is not wearing, as you can see, not wearing her school uniform. She's a nice outfit, but still. She's not wearing her school uniform. It's going to be all right for her to still sit the exam and have the whole assessment for the entire duration as normal. And she assured me, she's like, it's absolutely fine. Da 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 da. Don't worry about it. Drop her, leave her with me. Come back for her in a few hours, whatever, and it'll be all right. You would think that would be fine, right? It makes sense. Like, everyone makes mistake. That's the first thing. Like, okay, Tom Brown, where's this going? Because I don't get it. It's normal, right? But guess what? I left there, and the first thing I wanted to do was, I said, can I please just go to your bathroom? I left her, went straight to the bathroom, and before I knew it, guys, I kid you not, before I knew it, I was in floods of tears in this bathroom, in this school, where I had brought my daughter to see the entrance exam. Crying. Why was I crying? And the first thing I said to myself was, I'm just a bad mom. I'm just a bad mom, because if I was a good mom, I would have remembered what the letter said, read it thoroughly a night before, and made sure that she was in the right attire. I would have ensured that my daughter wouldn't stand out like a sore thumb on a day where she was being assessed, where she needed to, show that she was from I don't know, family lineage, whatever, genealogy of people who pay attention. Trust me, my mind was going everywhere. I had tears coming out. I came out. I tried to compose myself a little bit. Bottom line, I headed back to my car, and I was just completely a mess. And it wasn't until after maybe like a few minutes or so, I think I called my husband, I called my friend, and I said, oh, this was what happened. I feel so, rotten on the inside, and da da da. All of this, I forgot everything about being Coach Tombra, everything about what I know about human minds and psychology, what I know about belief systems and patterning and conditioning. Completely forgot everything. In this moment, I was standing in the truth that I perceived to be real, right? And I was saying to myself that, you know what? I wasn't a good mother. And that was what I was anchoring on. So it was later when I calmed down, obviously, and then I started reprocessing and thinking. And I was like, wait, Tombra, hold on. Obviously, by the time I finished speaking with everyone was like, first of all, it's not that a big deal. It's not that much of a big deal. It's absolutely fine. It's all right. I had been assured by the staff. I've spoken to a few more people actually on my way back. They said it's absolutely fine. It's, yeah, we would like all of them in uniform, but it is what it is. You're here already. We assure you that there won't be any impact on the outcome of our assessment as a result of what she's wearing. I was like, okay, fantastic, great. But I was still messed up on the inside. But it was later I started to really, really unpick. I tried to really get into the meat, the bones of what had happened. What had made me decapitulate so badly? I was like a mess on a thought that came from where? I sort of like, the first thing was like, wait. First of all, why were you thinking that you were a bad mother? What was going on? And then I realized that there was a belief, and this is really important, guys, because it shows that all of us are susceptible. There's no one that is beyond, fallible when it comes to things like this. I was operating, again, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. I was operating under a belief system that somehow I'd said to myself that I was a bad mom. So let me just kind of backtrack a little bit, just to give you guys a little bit more context on how beliefs are formed. So a belief generally is a way of thinking. It's like cementing a thought pattern, right? So if you think about, that's why they call it a mindset. So a mindset is based on a belief, on beliefs, or a set or a combination of beliefs, right? So my mindset had been patterned at some point. You have an experience in life, something good, bad, whatever happens. You tell yourself a story as a result of that experience. So something happens, I lost something, right? You tell yourself the story. The reason I lost the story is dash, dash, dash. As a result, you create a belief off of that. So I am dash, dash, dash. So you go from experience, I lost something, to a story, and to then a belief, right? So this is how it works for every single person. So what this means is that at some point in my life, I had an experience. I had told myself, I had an experience about motherhood. And I told myself a story about motherhood that ended up with maybe, so the story was, the reason I did this or I didn't do this was because I'm a bad mom. And then the belief I took that was then cemented in me was I am a bad mom. So it moves from experience to belief, right? So obviously none the wiser, going around my life, doing my thing, blah, blah, blah. Absolutely underneath the hood of who I am, it's unconscious. So it's an unconscious thought pattern. So, but what is so damaging about belief systems, right, is belief systems distort the truth. So a belief system will stand and it will look for anything that aligns with itself, even if it means distorting the truth. And what do I mean by this? So, what is the actual truth of this whole experience? The actual truth is that I had been preparing my daughter for one year, over about a year. I had gone over and beyond than even most parents. Sometimes, I would say, I've sat in the classes where she's having, sometimes she has lessons on Zoom. Sometimes I sit in, probably maybe I would say at least maybe 30 or even 40% of time. I don't need to do that. Why? Because I want to make sure I understand what she's being taught. I'm reading her essays. I'm doing all these things. And by the way, please don't get into why people do this at this age. Please, that's a story for another conversation. But over and beyond. Sat down in some of her classes, gone over and beyond, because it's like not every parent would do that, Made sure, got her ready on the day, G'd her up, drove her all the way. Oh, I missed out. Did the application for the school. Gone to the school for visiting day, open day, gone to see, made sure everything, she was fine. She could visualize herself there. She was happy. She done all of these things. Obviously, it's not just myself, so myself and my husband, right? But obviously, I'm speaking from first person, my contribution in relation to this story. So interrupting the podcast real quickly to bring you a short message from our sponsors, Linkage Assurance PLC. They're an insurance organization based in Nigeria that offer insurance services across a wide number of sectors. You want to check them out. They offer a great top-notch service. So they're particularly relevant for people who have business interests in Nigeria. So a product I would like to highlight today is from their motor insurance category. So in their motor insurance category, there's a third-party insurance plus product that provides insurance covers for the third-party vehicle if you were ever in an accident, as well as cover for your own vehicle as well at a really affordable rate. You want to check them out and tell them that we sent you. Thank you very much. Now back to the podcast. A belief will distort the truth just so that it can align with itself. All right? So what is the truth of this? I had put in the effort. We've been preparing her for about a year in advance. I've been sitting down sometimes in classes with her, going over and beyond. Why? Because I wanted to understand what she's being told. I would challenge her after classes. I would give her extra work. I would, obviously going over and beyond just so that I could make sure that she had the best chance of getting into some very, really competitive, selective schools. Done all of that. But in that moment, there was just one thing that I'd missed off, which is, yes, I didn't pay attention. There was a note in one of the letters about the assessment, and they had said, come in your school uniform. I'd missed that. But guess what? It distorted the truth of every single thing that I had done in the process in terms of my contribution towards the outcome of that exam. Even never mind everything else I do for her. Because think about it, when you say, I am not a good mother, just think about how wide-reaching, how far-reaching that statement in itself is. Think about it. Because every single person will have, no matter how bad you are, well, most people, there will be an element, there'll be something in you that you do good. So when you put a sentence like that and you label yourself a blanket statement like that, I'm bad, it means that you are purposefully excluding things just so that sentence can be true. Right? So I hope you're picking up what I'm saying here. So the reason I'm saying is I think it's so important to discuss because a lot of us right now, a lot of you who are listening to this podcast are being ruled by belief systems that you don't even know are prevalent in your mind. And these belief systems cause people to make decisions. They cause people to step forward for opportunities. They cause some people to shrink. Because they say, well, you know what, I am not good enough. I'm going to step up for this one because I feel it's more aligned with me, even though it's based on a belief system that is faulty. So there are a couple of things I know that I've been kind of going on, on different things, but a couple of things that I want you to remember about what I'm teaching here today, right? So there will always be a sponsoring thought aligned to a belief system. And for me, that sponsoring thought was, you know what? I am not a good mother because maybe one thing that happened. Maybe and the things I don't even know what I experience is. There'll always be something. But if I dig deeper, maybe I will. I want to get to the root and the origin of that belief, right? There will always be something. So you always have to be careful when you are feeling a certain way. You always have to think to yourself and really quickly question yourself. Why am I thinking this way? Where is this come from? Where is this original thought come from? Where is it? Dig deep. Ask why. Why? The second thing is that, like I said, belief systems will distort the truth. They will distort the truth. So when you make blanket statements like, oh no, but I'm not just good enough, or I can't do that, I can't, remember that the job of this belief system is to find allies. It's to find things that corroborate its authenticity. That says, yes, I am true and I am valid. That's exactly what it wants. So even if it means distorting a truth, it will always find a way to make itself look good. And what truth was it distorting my own experience? It was discounting every other thing that I had done in the run-up to that exam. To say, no one, it's invalidated because you did not put her in her school uniform. Therefore, you are ... The third thing I want you to know is that beliefs are often not based on facts, particularly negative beliefs. A lot of time it's an experience. You have made a story. We human beings are meaning-making machines. So we will make a meaning, we'll make a story, and we create and transform that or transfer that into a belief. So it's important that you are conscious about, where these things are coming from, understanding that a lot of these things are not based on facts. So you have to do the work to then retrace it. And then the fourth thing I will share is that beliefs will stay unless they are uprooted. They're not things that die. Oh, you know what? I'll just be and I'll just go silent. No. It will continue. It will remain unconscious. It will be in your subconscious until one day you arrest it and say, hey, and that my day was today. I was like, wait, how dare you, Tombra? Literally, I told myself off. How dare you? In this child's life that you have done so much, you reduce yourself and judge yourself so harshly by one thing. No, you've done like a million things that are great, not even good, absolutely fantastic. How would you judge yourself by just one thing? So I'm sharing my story with you today because I want you guys to really get it. Because this, for me today, it's motherhood. I don't know where you are judging yourself harshly. I don't know what belief systems that you're operating under that's stopping you from living a life of true magnificence. So I want you to do the work. The next time you challenge yourself, the next time you talk to yourself harshly, ask yourself, what belief system am I operating under? What is the sponsoring thought around this? What meaning have I made that I need to uproot, that is damaging to my life and future? It is so important because unless you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. Thank you so much for being on this podcast with me today. If you have stories of yours that you would love to share with me, I would love to hear them. Send it to me at tombra@tombra.com or tag me on Instagram or send me a DM on Instagram. I'm on tombra.unswago. I'd love to hear from you and I trust that this was helpful for you. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.